Saška,
Hi,
district
Andrea.
energy has a lot of different faces. Let's talk about a face which is maybe not so much known, the microgrids. What is a microgrid and why do you think it is getting more and more important?
Yeah, so why we are talking about microgrids? Microgrids are important because, primarily district heating has been really centered around big cities, but there is really a huge potential on also connecting rural areas into the district heating technology, and this is actually the answer to this challenge. And this microgrid technology applications actually started to develop in Austria, in Germany, France, also Denmark, and they were usually around as I said, smaller cities with around a couple of hundred of connections to the district heating network. And the ease of implementation actually was really important to boost and growth this technology. The ease of implementation meaning that also local communities were engaged into development of this technology, and then were also supported, because what we see in a lot of cases, if actually local community is not really supporting the transition, we discussed that yesterday also with Anton on his panel. We saw this, there is a resistance to transition to the new technology, like we see this gas boiler challenge, for example.
Clearly. And of course, district energy does not always need to be a big city network.
Exactly.
There is much more flexible use as well. So what would you say are the success criteria to make a microgrid really successful and working well in practice?
So before we come to the success criteria, maybe also some advantages first of the microgrids. I think why microgrids were so successful is also because they are utilizing internal or a local source heat. Usually that started with biomass, but now is more and more also coming with other sources like excess heat, heat pumps with using renewable electricity and so forth. So the technology is developing, and but this local dependency on and availability of the local heat resources is really key. Another one, of course, is cost, is really efficient way of heating the buildings. Then what is really also important is that because these were usually smaller networks, that operations of these networks is really efficient. Because bigger utilities can afford expensive and a lot of investments into operation of the networks, but for them, for the smaller microgrids, it's really important that they have this efficient, and that's why they are relying a lot on the support from the partners, from the suppliers, on especially these software tools and solutions. And Danfoss is having a very strong position in that sense, because we are not only offering mechanical stations solutions, but we are also, can support our customers with software solution where, for example, GDPR is one of the really important topics that we can also solve.
And software solutions, so in the sense that you use digital solutions as well to ease the use of different energy sources, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is, I think, a really important thing is that we visualize what are the operating conditions for the utilities, for the microgrid operators, so that they can also see, if, for example, one station or one part of the system is not fully optimized or operating in the conditions that it should. So this alarming system, for example, that they can get notified if, some temperature is too high in certain part of the network, for example, these kind of features are really important to them, and we can provide them, of course, with our solutions.
And of course we have even the regulatory framework now, because we have to map the heat sources, so that supports a microgrid creation as well.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Saška.
Thank you, Andrea.